All right, Reverend Boyd, come on, sir. You're next, and you can be as brief as you can, please, sir, because we really living at time. We don't want to keep the folk out too late today. All right, here's the Reverend Reuben Boyd, the pastor of Third Street Bethlehem in Richmond. He's going to talk about church security.
This will be brief, my brothers and sisters. The elder, we talked a couple of weeks ago after we had bomb threat at 3rd Street. And,
Can y'all hear him?
Can't hear me?
Just say it a little louder.
A little louder? Okay. All right, let me put my preacher's voice on then. Good morning.
Good morning.
A few weeks ago, I talked with the presiding elder about a bomb threat that we had at 3rd Street. And so he asked me to just have a few words with the district conference. I live by an old adage, better safe than sorry.
Yes.
And that's the approach that we took at 3rd Street. We started with a security plan. So I'm here today to encourage our churches to establish a security plan. It doesn't matter what size of church it is. I feel you need some type of security plan. Those plans can exist from, first of all, establishing a security team in your church. That is necessary. Establish a security team in your church, and it's always good if you have an ex-law enforcement officer in your church. And 3rd Street just happened to have one.
Amen.
And so I put them to use. Our program started with Reverend Anthony Rogers when he was there. I put him to use, and he established the plan. And then after Reverend Rogers left 3rd Street to start pastoring, we had Reverend Dunn, who was a former police officer. So if you've got that type of talent, but if not, you can always consult your local police department. We've had them to come in also and to look at our plan and to give us information on and what we can do to better what we're doing. So it is really important that you establish a security team. And even at the small churches, if the team is just a couple of members, and then consult your local law enforcement officers and get someone to come in and to help you set up a plan. From that plan at 3rd Street, we realized that we needed cameras. So we installed cameras inside and out so that we can see inside and out 360. And those cameras, I will tell you about it in a few minutes, is what helped us during the bomb threat. So everybody may not be able to install cameras. I understand because it is expensive. But please start with a security team and someone that is when you're having service, always have someone there that will have their eyes on the doors or the windows. Keeping a lookout. We need this. I think we live thinking that it's not going to happen to us.
That's right.
We found out about 3 weeks ago that it can happen to you. That it can happen to you. We were in the midst of service. I was preaching. And Reverend Dunn, who is the head of security, came into the pulpit. And I'm preaching, and I'm wondering, why is this joker coming into the pulpit? And walking up to me. Not to sit down, but he was walking toward me, and I'm wondering, what's going on here? So he whispered in my ear that we've got the evacuate. It's a bomb threat. So you're training not only establish a team, but make sure that team is focused on training your people. Fortunately, we had drills at 3rd Street. Shooter drills, what would happen if there's a fire. And we have designated doors. So all of this is part of the planning. Who goes out one door and the good thing about the drill is they look after the pastor. There's somebody assigned to make sure they take care of the pastor. But in this case, what happened? They left me standing in the pulpit. That part of the plan didn't quite work. No, seriously. I chose to stand there because what really happened is, after he whispered that in my ear, and I was in the midst of quoting some scripture, and just leaned over for him to whisper that in my ear, so immediately I had to say, Lord, what should I do? And it was like, quickly, the Spirit said, you don't want to alarm your people. So I continued after the Reverend Dunn walked off, I continued to read that scripture until the Lord told me to stop. And I stopped, and I just calmly said, asked my people, said, this is the end of the sermon. Or this is all of the sermon for today. Please do me a favor, quietly stand up and move quickly out of the church. I think they thought it was another drill. But your plans will pay off, and your drills will pay off, because we were told we had 20 minutes to get out. Where the cameras came in, and I had someone monitoring the cameras, part of the security team. Every Sunday there's somebody monitoring our cameras in the balcony. And fortunately, fortunately, he was not on his cell phone, he was monitoring the monitor. The police were at our doors because we lock our doors at 11:15, so we're all upstairs. The only way you can get in if you're late is they can see you on the monitor, and they'll tell they will radio Reverend Dunn and say someone's at the door.
Yeah.
Well, 3 Sundays ago, there were a lot of police officers beating on the doors. And the brother Wallace that was monitoring the cameras radioed Reverend Dunn, said there's police officers at the door. So he immediately went to the door, and they said, you got to evacuate. They had received the bomb threat at the police department, that 2 bombs was in 3rd Street under the back pews. And so your training and your drills will pay off. No matter how small you are, please establish some type of drill at the church that teaching people how to move out, what door to go out, and what to do with those in wheelchairs. And I thank God that our plan was successful, but you will always find in any plan that it's not 100%. There was a few things that we found that we can change. So please establish that, and then constantly look at that plan. One thing that I learned is to tell Reverend Dunn, comes into their pulpit again, you don't have to do that. Let's establish some kind of sign system in the back, so you can stand at the back and hold up a red sign.
Yeah.
And I'm preaching, I'll see the red sign.
That's right.
But then you don't have to alarm everybody by running into the pulpit, because they knew something was going on.
Yeah.
So please, establish a security plan. If you can afford the cameras, they're worth the money. And we have security, paid security on Sunday morning, a law enforcement officer, and with our inside security team. I know they've been at times the church got frustrated with our security team carrying us through I even got frustrated at times. You know, I'm saying, man, I got to go down these back steps, and everybody else is fussing too, but nobody's fussing now. No one is fussing. So thank God that they did not find the bomb, but they flooded the church immediately, looking under pews and back pews. So within 20 minutes, our people, all the people were out across the street from the church and standing calmly. And I was able to go over and talk to them, make sure nobody was upset or about to have a stroke or heart attack, you know. And so none of that happened. But that comes with a plan, training. Yeah. So it is important. Please put money in your security, because it can happen to you. And I recognize that next time it could be real.
That's right.
So it can happen. I think the biggest problem was the next Sunday when we came into church. I was more nervous than anyone because I persuaded everyone to come back to church. And I was like, oh, if something happens, you know. But everything, thank God. So please, my brothers and sisters, if you need any help, give me a call. If you need any help in setting up your plan, okay. I think Dr. Scott was
This is a fairly contentious issue for so many of our churches, and I'm wondering how you all have worked it out in 3rd Street. Is anyone on your security staff armed?
Yes. I'll leave it there. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
If it doesn't breach any privacy issues as it relates to your security, are you able to share your security plan with members?
I would be glad to do that if you want that. Because we have it, it's printed. So I would be glad to do that.
Reverend Boyd, did you conduct these drills and practice sessions on a Sunday?
On Sunday?
Doing a regular, okay.
Doing service, or in the midst of service. But the difference in the drills was we notified, we let the church know that there would be a drill. That was different from 3 weeks ago, you know. But I think what helped us was when I asked them to move out, get up and move out quickly. I really think by us going through the drill, they thought that was a drill. Until they turned around and saw all the police flooding into the church.
You know, it's interesting you said it was 3 weeks ago because 3 weeks ago, my niece called me on a Sunday because she was at Quinn Chapel AME Church in Cincinnati. They had the same type of bomb threat on the same day. So that's kind of interesting that that happened. And they were live streaming at the time. Were you live streaming at the time?
Live streaming, but we shut it off.
Before.
The technician shut it off and posted a sign that we had a bomb threat. Because we, more than likely, what we call that threat in was probably in our live stream.
Yeah.
Or they probably were riding down the street and wanted to see if we were going to be running out and all over each other stuff. But there was a suspicious name in the live stream that was found. Clark Kent that we've never seen. Seen on Sundays. And Clark Kent didn't show up the next Sunday. So we felt like I gave that information to the police, to Reverend Dunn, because he was talking with the police all through Sunday night. They were trying to. They did find that the phone was a burner phone. Changed it back to a burner phone. Okay.
Do you think it's a good idea to assign members or people in the church to help the senior people that struggle or anybody that is pain? Because in our church, our fellowship hall is in like a basement and there is no door to go out.
That's right.
You have to come up the steps to get out. So if we're doing something in the fellowship hall, we probably need to assign people for those events that's focused mainly on getting the people out that can't, just run the steps or anything like that. I think that would be a good idea to assign them. Not just what happened and then you don't know who's going to help them. Just assign to do that.
That's part of our plan. There are certain people on the security team that will move to those in wheelchairs and make sure that they are getting them out. I noticed during the bomb threat that there was one lady left, and she was on a walker, but we usually keep the walkers at the back, and then someone should go get them and bring them to them and serve them. So I don't know if that's a good idea anymore, because they got her out, and I remained in the pulpit until everybody was out. Until the officer told me, he said, "Sir, you got to go." But I remained there until and she was the last one, and I said, "What about Sister James?" And then someone was coming to get her.
Oh, okay.
Captain of the ship.
You mentioned something that piqued my interest, and that is your tech team being vigilant about what was coming across during the live stream. Was there any particular training for them, or are they just savvy enough to know? Because some of us are live streaming, and it may be something that we need to look at in terms of making a recommendation so that those of us who are using simplistic systems will understand how to put patches, what patches do we need, what security do we need in terms of technology to be able to recognize these threats.
Unfortunately, we have not trained them to that extent.
Okay.
They monitor the cameras.
Okay.
And constant with, they have radios and my technician on that Sunday that monitors our service every Sunday is my wife. She sits there with her phone so that she lets the technicians know upstairs if it looks bad or sounds bad, the service. And so she monitors those that names that she sees. So she once told me, said, that was a suspicious name, Ken.
Wow.
And I said, that is suspicious. And she said, I watch names every Sunday. And even though we have a lot of and people coming from India and around the country that's tuning in, she said, but there was something about that name, and she had never seen that name, and it didn't show up again. But what you suggested is what we, like I said, we found out that there are some things we need to do.
Okay.
Reverend Boyd.
Yes, ma'am.
Just to kind of reiterate something, on our security team, we also train the ushers and the trustees and the stewards. So that they are part of our security team as well. So I just wanted you to, the congregation to know that. And the reason why Mrs. James was the last one to be moved out of the church was the police would not let us go back into the sanctuary to bring her walker. So that was one of the reasons why we couldn't get her out until the last minute.
Thanks for my administrative assistant there. She knows when I leave out something. So, and Sister Hall has a monitor in her office. There's a monitor in my office. So we every day can monitor the cameras inside of the church. So,
Are there cameras outside of the church?
yes, yeah.
In that same system?
Same system, all in the same system. It's another hand.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, in reference to your evacuation plan, is it hard copy or is it just the people who have been trained to evacuate those in the sanctuary? I was just basically thinking that if I was informed on the procedure of how things were when that occurred, then I would know what to do when that did happen. And maybe some people may want to know what is the procedure for if you get a bomb threat or this and that and another, what do I do? As opposed to asking John, Jane, and Jill, where do I go, what do I do, and it may create a confusion in that sense.
And so we do have that plan.
Okay.
And copy. Because in the back of our pews, you will see a laminated instruction on what door, if you're sitting here, what door you should go out. So that's part of that plan.
Yeah.
So it is in print, and if anyone like to take a look at it, can do that. And Sister Hall, thank you for it. Our security team includes stewards, trustees, and anyone that wants to join it. As a matter of fact, I'm encouraged for them, and I hope that after what happened, they'll see the need to become part of the security team.
I just want to say too that one thing that our chief security officer, Reverend Dunn, as my husband said, is a former police officer, what he also instituted that we do not allow backpacks.
Yeah.
Into the church. We did have one Sunday where a lady came in and obviously homeless, but, you know, she didn't totally look homeless, but she had a cart and she had her bag. So he went through her cart and checked it and also checked her bag. And then he allowed her to go up. So that's another thing that he recommends, that if you got anybody, if you have anyone coming in with a backpack to church, even if it's a child, you want to make sure you teach them the backpack.
Thank you. Now, let me say, thank you, Sister Boyd. Let me say one other thing. When it comes to whether someone in your church is armed or not, it is preferable if they have some law enforcement experience. But if not, make sure that they're licensed.
That's right. Yeah.
And I don't just allow anybody. I had an elderly member that wanted to. He was licensed, but I said, I don't know about this. So it's sort of up to the pastor. It's up to the pastor to decide. I do go. One of my members that I know, we go to the firing range together. So I know that he knows how to handle a weapon. I'm ex-law enforcement, so I know how to handle a weapon. And military, so I know how to handle a weapon. So, but make sure that they know what they're doing, and that you think that they are capable of handling that weapon.
As we leave from here, thinking security, we got to think budget.
Yes.
So, we also have 360-degree coverage inside and out, and on security. And I had to increase the budget by $10,000 annually.
That's right.
Coverage on security and 360-degree coverage inside and outside.
And so thank you, Reverend Rupert, because I don't want you to leave here thinking that that's cheap, that you can do this stuff and it costs. But let me say this. I have some information and I ran off and left it, but all you got to do is call me and email me. From the Virginia Department of Emergency Management, they are managing a grant from FEMA for, it's called a non-profit grant for churches, for faith centers. Give me a call and I can give you the information. I've been in touch with them. I just received a message a couple of weeks ago. I was invited to a workshop at Jewish Federation, and I didn't make it, so one of the pastors sent me the information and made sure that I got the information, that's where this information came from. It's up to $150,000 that they would give you to improve your security in the church. Unfortunately, the grant has closed, but you can go ahead and they encourage you to enroll and be ready for the next back up in the spring again. Right? So please do that, and if you need information, give me a call or email, and I'll get it to you. Yes, sir.
Can I make a suggestion? I know that we have churches that maybe can afford to do the security, and
Yes.
some we don't. Maybe we should partner with another church that cannot. Whenever we have a special service, have a part of that fund go to security to give and support the other churches. That's good.
It's not a bad idea if you can help another church do that. But let me suggest that you first start with the basics of what you can do yourself, and then maybe at some point contact a church that you think can afford it, and they'll be willing to help you with what you need. But I think that grant will be. I'm not definitely. But please start with your basic. Do something. Do something. Don't just think that you're safe sitting in there on Sunday. You are not. You are not. All right. I thought it would be
right?